Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My dear students in الفضيلة Secondary School, Grade 3, how are you? Today, inshallah, we are going to complete Unit 4, Lessons 3 and 5. By the end of this video, you will know what is reported speech. So let's start and pay attention, please. As you see our title, Reported Speech, Statements, Questions and Commands. Statements, questions and commands. We will study the three all now. So let's start by reported speech statements. At first, reported speech is when we talk about what someone else said in the past. Again, reported speech is when we talk about what someone else said in the past. For example, if your friend Rakan said, I'm working on a new project. I'm working on a new project. So let's report the sentence. Rakan said he was working on a new project. Rakan said he was working on a new project. So the sentence, I'm working on a new project, is a direct sentence. When we report it, it became Rakan said he was working on a new project. Now, I want you to pay attention to these 2 points. Pronouns change when they go from direct to reported speech. Pronouns change when they go from direct to reported speech. At first, what are pronouns? Pronouns are like I, he, she, you, etc. This is called pronouns. The second point, there are some changes to the verb tenses in reported speech. The verb tenses. For example, the simple present become simple past. The simple present becomes simple past. As in my example, I want to go home. I want to go home. I want any one of you to report this sentence. Okay, you? Huh? Excellent. He said he wanted to go home. He said he wanted to go home. Let's see what happened to this sentence. At first, the pronoun I changes to he. We added said. So he said, huh, we can add that after said. He said that, or we can omit it. He said that, or he said. Okay. I changes into he. He said he. I changes into he. He said he. And the verb want in the simple present became wanted in the simple past. He said he wanted to go home. Now we will see how verb tenses change in reported speech in the table in page 40, exercise number 2. So open your book, look at exercise number 2. How do these tenses change in reported speech? How do these tenses change in reported speech? Look at the grammar reference for help. Let's start. The first one, present simple. Present simple, as I said, become past simple. Present simple become past simple. So number 2, present continuous. Huh? Who can? Present continuous. Excellent. Present continuous become past continuous. Present continuous become past continuous. Number 3, present perfect. Okay, you? Excellent. Present perfect become past perfect. Okay. Number 4, okay, you? Past simple. Huh? Past simple. Excellent. Past simple become past perfect. Okay. Number 5, will. Huh? Who can? Will. Okay, you. Will. Excellent. Will become would. Excellent. And number 6, can. You. Excellent. Can become could. Excellent. Number 7, may. I will say this one. May become might. Okay. Number 8, must and have to. Must and have to become you. Excellent. Must and have to become had to. So you have to know these verb tenses and how they change in reported speech. Now we will study reported speech questions. Before we start, we have 2 kinds of questions: yes, no questions and WH questions. At first, yes, no questions are the questions that start by an auxiliary verb. Let's see, we will know everything now. Yes, no questions. In this case, we use asked if or wanted to know if in the reported questions. Again, in this case, we use asked if or wanted to know if in the reported questions. Let's see my example in the direct sentence or the direct question, please. Are you coming to the party? Are you coming to the party? As you see, this question starts with are, an auxiliary verb. Let's report it. He asked if I was coming to the party. He asked if I was coming to the party. The question starts with are, so we used asked if. He asked if I was coming to the party. Let's look at these notes. In reported yes no questions, we do not use the auxiliary verbs do, does, did. In other words, if your question starts with do or does or did, you have to omit it before you report. So again, in reported yes no questions, we do not use the auxiliary verbs do, does, did. Number two, we put the subject before the verb in reported questions. We put the subject before the verb in reported questions. Let's look at my example again. He asked if I was. I was started by I, then was. Again, we put the subject before the verb in the reported questions. Number three, we don't use question marks in reported questions. We don't use question marks in reported questions. Let's look again at my example. He asked if I was coming to the party. I put full stop, not a question mark. Number four, tenses and pronouns change in reported questions in the same way as in reported statements. Tenses, I think I studied tenses with you in our table in page 40, so you have to look at it again. And pronouns, as I said, I became he, and so on. Again, tenses and pronouns change in reported questions in the same way as in reported statements. Now, reported speech question words or WH questions. What are WH questions? Questions that start by when, where, why, and so on. Let's see. To report other questions that are not yes or no questions, we use asked, wanted to know, plus the question word, and without the auxiliary verbs do, does, did. Again, the, to report other questions that are not yes or no questions, we use asked or wanted to know plus the question word, and without the auxiliary verbs do, does, or did. Let's see my example. When do you start work? When do you start work? As you see, my question starts with when, a question word or WH question. When do you start work? I will report this question now. He asked when I started work. He asked when I started work. Another example. Why did you decide to visit the castle? Why did you decide to visit the castle? Let's report it. Who can at first? Huh? But pay attention. You have to change. You have to change the pronoun and the verb tense. Okay, you? Excellent. He wanted to know why he had decided to visit the castle. Let's see what happened in this example. At first, we started by he wanted to know, as I said, and then we put the question word why. He wanted to know why. Then you change it to he and decide. Decide. From the auxiliary verb did, we know that we were in the past simple. And in the tenses, in the table, as I said, the past simple change or become past perfect. So he wanted to know why he had decided to visit the castle. Again, he wanted to know why he had decided to visit the castle. Now, let's see the final point today, reported speech comments. In my opinion, comments are the easiest one. So, let's start. For reported comments, we use to plus infinitive or not to plus infinitive. Again, to plus infinitive or not to plus infinitive. Let's see. If necessary, we change pronouns and other words in the same way as in reported statements, okay? We use told to report stronger commands and asked for more polite requests. Okay, you can use told or asked. Let's see my example. Don't shout, his mother told him. Don't shout, his mother told him. Let's report it. Don't shout. She told him not to shout. Again, his mother, she, we used told, she told him, okay? Don't shout. Here, don't shout is in the negative form. So we use not to plus infinitive. Not to plus infinitive. So when my sentence is in the negative form, we use not to plus infinitive. Again, don't shout. His mother told him. We will report it. She told him not to shout. Another example, please close the door. Please close the door. As you see, it is in the negative form. It is not in the negative form. So we will change it. He asked us to close the door. We used asked, then us, then to plus infinitive. He asked us to close the door. Here we used to plus infinitive because the sentence is not negative. Please close the door. He asked us to close the door. I hope you understand my lesson today. And before you repeat this video, you have to open your student book page 47 in the grammar revision and answer exercise 2 and 3. Thank you.